How's it, Dukes? Thanks for your time.
Hello everyone.
Being back home in Cape Town for an All Black test, I imagine this is your first one in Cape Town against All Blacks?
Yeah, I love being back in Cape Town. Obviously I'm from here, but yeah, it's my second test, well, it could be my second test against All Blacks. The first one was at Newlands, and unfortunately I got a red card in that game from the charge down, which was a bit harsh, and I didn't get any sanctions afterwards. So yeah, but yeah, just looking forward to the weekend. Hopefully I get another crack at it, because I'd love to play against All Blacks at the DHL Stadium. And yeah.
I mean, the recent past now, obviously from the World Cup final last year and Ellis Park last week, what makes this such a special game, and is this the ultimate test for you guys outside of World Cups? Is this how you measure yourself as individuals and as a Springbok team?
For me personally, in terms of Springbok history that I know of, I think it is the biggest game that us as Springboks can measure ourselves against, in terms of the rivalry and the tradition of playing against All Blacks. Yeah, that's my opinion, but I've always felt that way, even in Super Rugby, and there's no disrespect to the other teams, but you play against when you played against the Super Rugby teams, the teams from New Zealand, you always wanted to play your best because they were the best teams in Super Rugby. They were the most successful, and yeah, for me to always get an opportunity to play against them, it's incredible, because you want to test yourself against the best. And I know at the moment for them it's not going well, not well, but we put them under a lot of pressure, and they haven't got results that they wanted, but they are still up there with the best in the world, and for us, we still want to measure ourselves against them.
You've obviously played a lot of Test rugby and a lot of games against them. Is this as good a time in the Springbok jersey playing them?
Yeah, it's always a good time. It's always good fun. Like I said, you always want to test yourself against the best players in the world, and they've always been up there. I know, like I said, now at the moment they're not as consistent as what they probably want to be, but they probably got at least between maybe 3 to 5 players that could be close to the best players in the world in their position, in my opinion. So yeah, for me it's always a good time to play against them, no matter if they are going through a bad patch or if they are going to a good patch.
I was actually thinking more the Springboks being in a good space.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think for us, yeah, I think we're in a very good space. Rassie has helped us a lot, and we've come a long way with him and the coaching staff. Obviously we've got Tony Brown and Jerry there now as well, which is incredible. And the way we develop our game, it's very exciting. We're moving in the right direction. And for me at 32 years old, I'm learning a lot more, especially in international rugby as well, in the way that Jerry thinks and the way that Tony thinks as well. So it's nice at my age now to still learn and get better. And with inside that, I'm still going to make a few mistakes like I did over the past weekend. But as long as I know that us as a squad are getting better and we're moving in the right direction, and us as individuals, we're also getting better as well.
Tony called you the best passer in the Springbok team. Not too long ago. Does that put pressure on you?
No, it doesn't. No, not at all. We obviously work on our passing quite a lot. I've worked on my passing throughout my whole career. Obviously now I get to use it a lot more than what I have done in the past. So,
which must be fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, and that's why I say us as a Springbok group and coaches and everything, we're moving in the right direction. And we need to be like challenging and testing the boundaries and being more dynamic than every other team. So we are working towards that, and it will take time, and we'll make a few mistakes along the way, but hopefully by the time we get to where we want to get, then we'll all be flourishing and in a very good space still.
People in Cape Town will obviously remember those passes from the early days and stuff. It must be quite liberating for you to, in some ways, almost play like an inside centre usually does or traditionally did. We know you with your hard carrying, and that's how the Boks want it from you. But yeah. I mean, yeah, to actually exercise your skills and showcase what you can do.
Yeah, it is very nice. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily just my role to carry up, but I also know, like, in terms of playing and how momentum swings and try and get the forwards on the front foot, sometimes you just have to dig deep and get your head stuck in there. And yeah, I will always put the team first, and whether that's if I need to carry or make a pass. And fortunately now at my age I can make more passes than more carries. But within saying that, I'll still do the hard graft where it's needed, and then the rest will take care of itself, and then the passes will come off a bit better, and I can start putting guys in more space, and we can start scoring more tries, more beautiful tries.
Talking about the passing and with regards to growing your game, I mean, since the Stormers days, playing in Japan, do you feel that a bit more of an expansive kind of game, that also help you in playing, let's say, a wider kind of game as a inside centre?
Yeah, definitely. Even before I met Tony Brown, obviously working with Robbie Deans at Panasonic Wild Knights, he was incredible, because I obviously got there and he knew how strong I was in contact, and it felt, I think for him it felt like every time we were under pressure I just took the ball up, because I wanted to take the pressure off the other players. And he just got me into a mindset where I must just shift the ball, because the more I shift the ball, the times I do carry, I'll only maybe have one tackler on me, or less than 2 or 3 sometimes. So yeah, he just got me in the mindset of rather moving the ball first, and then I can look to carry the ball up. And that changed my game a lot. It helped me a lot, especially in terms of a mindset. And obviously Tony Brown, he worked at Panasonic as well, so he understood it. And the moment he came in here and he spoke to us about it, I really clicked as well. So yeah, for us it's a massive benefit to have someone like Tony involved with Springbok Rugby. Obviously he's the first New Zealander coach that's ever coached Springbok, so it's good for us to get his knowledge and his mindset, and for him to help us adapt our game.
Has it been almost maybe uncomfortable, the not the right word, but that kind of feeling with you guys, with Tony Brown now, he's sort of pushing the boundaries with you guys to actually break free from what some would say maybe shackles on the Bok attack or Bok backline? Know that we know the Boks play a certain way, but certainly from 2019 to 23 we saw the difference, and now we can definitely see an even greater difference.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I'm 32, we've got a lot of old guys in the squad, and it's always like at this age it can be quite tough to adjust to something new. But the most incredible thing has been how everyone has adjusted, and I'm speaking of all the guys in their 30s. And everyone is brought into this new game plan and the idea of moving the ball. And I think that's the most important thing. And it's not, for me, it's nice to make passes on the field, but it's also a big impact on our game, the work that Tony does with the forwards, for them to move the ball as well. Because we've got great ball carriers at the Springboks. I always felt we probably lacked a bit of skill set, and Felix and Jacques helped us a lot with that, and now Tony's helping us even more with that, in terms of understanding where the space is and trying to get to that space.
I guess it comes down to variety, because I mean each individual can have the skill set, but it's about mixing it up. You're not going to go wide every single time, because then it's easy to defend. Same way, you don't want to just carry in narrow channels all the time.
Yeah, we want to attack the space, and I think in the past we thought the space was through them the whole time, and playing against international teams, especially like New Zealand, you're not going to dominate every contact. They are, like I said, they're great players, they're tough to play against, and they flip it incredibly physical. So yeah, if you just think you're gonna be dominant the whole time, you probably aren't made for this rugby. So it's just that balance of Tony Brown keeping us aware of where the space is and moving the ball into that space, and rather just trying to go through the team all the time.
Being in the Bok squad, or let's put it this way, the Bok environment has been quite dynamic, in that just when you think you kind of figure things out, like there's a pattern developing, Rassie tends to sort of mix things up, and we see it often in selection. There's not like a go-to 15 necessarily. He chops and changes. how does that, I mean, and you're obviously an experienced player, how do you adjust to that? Because obviously it requires a bit of a mind shift as well, because in your mind you may be like, I'm the best inside centre there is.
Yeah, like for me it's tough after the first Australian test. Obviously found out I wasn't playing, so for me it's quite tough at my age. Like I flipping disappointed still because I always want to play, but I also understand the mindset of Rassie of we need to broaden our squad and we need to get more guys involved and we need to think outside the box and be more dynamic, and we must need to be one step ahead of everyone else. So I understand it, and I think everyone else understands it as well. It's very easy just to sit there and be upset and be grumpy the whole week, but yeah, I don't think any player in the squad is like that, and I think that's why we work so well. Everyone puts the egos aside. It is disappointing not to play, but you know that at the end of the day, if we all buy into the plan that Rassie and the coaches want, which is sometimes you'll play, sometimes you won't, we'll all be able to be successful together. And I understand it, I know all the other players understand it, and that's the most important thing for us.
And I guess with after 2019 and 23, some would say it might be difficult for the same group to go for the third one and be motivated. So it must be refreshing to have at least something sort of new in this environment to get you to 27. You know that there's some almost like a fresh start in some ways.
Yeah, definitely, and that's, I think a guy like Tony coming in at the right time has opened my eyes a lot. Obviously I learned quite a bit in Japan before I met Tony, but I think for the forwards and the other backline players that didn't meet him, I think for them it's very exciting because they understand now that we can't just run through teams, we can actually move the ball and go through other spaces, and as long as we keep buying into that plan and we keep developing and we are staying fit and hungry to play, then I don't see why all of us can't go to the next World Cup, even at, we'll be probably about 35, some guys 36 maybe. But yeah, Johnny Sexton played until he was 38, and he was a fantastic player, and he was still competitive, he was still at his prime at 38, I think. He was still playing great rugby, so yeah, there's no reason why we can't do it. It's just as long as we are adapting to what the coaches want, and as long as we are still working very hard and keeping up with the rest of the squad.
You touched on what my next question would have been, and that's like the age thing. You mentioned a few times you're one of the senior guys, 32 in the team. After the World Cup last year, you said you probably just check how your body feels and you know, all of that. Well, at the moment, there's nothing wrong with the body or the playing. We saw that on Saturday. So would you say that is it an approach of seeing each year how it goes up until that World Cup? Because you said now there's no reason why some of the older guys can't go.
Yeah, like I said, I still feel very great. I still feel like I'm keeping up with training. Flip and love it, at the Springboks. But I'm still hungry to play and get better and develop my game. So as long as I'm in that mindset, in that space, and I don't wake up on a Sunday after a game and I can't walk properly, really can't move my body, then I know something's wrong and something has to change. But at the moment I'm still feeling quite strong. I still feel like I recover quite well after the game. Sometimes it takes maybe a day and a half longer, but yeah, besides that, I think for me personally, and I speak for myself, I think I'll still take it year by year. Obviously don't want to come here and I'm almost pulling the guys down, because that's really what I don't want. I still want to come here and almost be the example and carry on getting better and try and get guys up to my level. I think that's the most important thing for me.
And then just on that same point, you mentioned the squad now, 2019, 2023, a lot of the guys are older. Those discussions, how has it been approached in the squad with Rassie and everybody? Because the reality is a lot of you guys are older and might not make it to 2027. Have you had those discussions, and how do you guys approach it?
We don't have discussions like that. It's just Rassie understands we are getting older, and he says it's life, it's part of rugby, you're never going to play forever, but it's just how long you can keep up and how long you can still stay relevant and adapt in your game and keeping up and moving forward. And obviously being at training every day and and not trying to sit out once a week, because then it starts catching up to you. So, I think for me that's the way I see it, and I love the way Rassie says it. He doesn't pull any players aside and tries to manage them in a week. He wants everyone to be on top of their game and ready for selection whenever he wants them to play.
Is the game a lot more physical than when you started playing for the Springboks? I'm not talking about recovery because the body gets older, but I'm talking about the physicality you experience in the game. I
think so, yes. And I mean that, like, I don't mean that in any disrespect to the older guys. When I started playing in 2014 and 2015, I think guys are a lot more conditioned nowadays. A lot more guys gym. I know a lot of guys when I started playing didn't gym. And just the dynamic of the game has changed quite a bit as well. I think there's a lot more ball in play maybe than what there used to be. But I think guys are a lot more conditioned. Guys are in peak condition. They're a lot stronger. Guys are trying to get stronger every season. They're trying to squat more. They're trying to bench more. They're trying to get stronger, and that leads to bigger conditions in the game. So I think for me personally, yes, it has gotten more physical.
And then just on, you mentioned now starting in 2014-15, I spoke to Victor Matfield a few weeks ago, and he actually about the older guys, and he said the fact that a lot of the guys are playing in Japan is also an advantage because the season's not that long, the guys might stay fresher. You also play in Japan. Do you feel that can prolong a career perhaps? Not prolong like you go to play there to play longer for the Boks, but I mean instead of playing in South Africa where you play Champions Cup and URC.
Yeah, I think for me, I wouldn't say the rugby's easier, not at all, because some of the games are ridiculously physical and ridiculously fast. I think I enjoy that aspect of the game. But I just think in terms of travelling, it helps a lot. I get to spend more time with my family. When you play in the URC or in France, I think in France you play late games and only get home the next afternoon, or you don't really get a recovery day. Where in Japan, I'm only away for one night at most, and then I'm back home that same day after a game, and then to wake up in your own bed on a Sunday morning and then spend time with the family. Sometimes I go to the onsen on a Sunday, and when I get back to training on the Monday I feel very refreshed again. Sometimes it's quite tough to play a game on a Saturday and then fly the Sunday morning. It takes a lot out of your day. It doesn't feel like you get proper rest, and then that also leads into Monday. So Monday you don't feel as fresh as what you could have felt. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I love that aspect of Japan. I also get looked after quite well. Rugby looks after me, and our coaches look after not just me, but a guy like Lord as well that's there at the club. And we try and help them a lot in terms of our mindset, of what we try and do, and the way we see the game, and they appreciate that a lot. Which is also very nice, but yeah, just in terms of looking after the body and stuff, the rugby is always going to be physical, and I think in Japan it's a bit faster, like I said, but yeah, I enjoy getting that Sunday off with the family and can just take your mind completely off everything and just enjoy that Sunday and do your recovery if you need to, and then get back in on Monday and you feel a lot more refreshed than what I have felt in the past when I played URC or Super Rugby. And yeah.
How long did it take you to sort of figure out the do's and the don'ts at the onsen?
Pretty quickly, I think, because I was there obviously in 2015, and I'm always quite aware and respectful of other people's cultures. Try and buy into it quite quickly so that there's no drama in between. Obviously I was there in 2015, and then obviously we played Japan in Kumagaya before the World Cup in 2019, and then we got a proper taste of the onsen and how it should be. And then obviously guys like Willie had been there before, and he had been there for a couple of seasons I think at Allende, so he also helped us quite a bit. So we actually got into that routine quite easily, and to go to the local onsen where I stay in Kumagaya, it's incredible. There are a few people that might know rugby, but probably 95% of them don't. So I actually sit there in the sauna and actually do some nice peace out time and get some nice recovery time.
Be left alone.
Yeah.
Because I want to also mention your family now. How's being a dad and being a husband?
Yeah, it's incredible, but it's hard work. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. I had my wife and kids in Joburg last week, and to have both the kids in the room with us was I think tougher than the test match. But no, besides that, no, it's incredible. I love being a father. Like everyone else that has the challenges. Obviously, we travel quite a bit, so it's quite tough. So do miss out on their lives quite a bit, but within saying that, it's incredible. I'm going to head home shortly now and go spend some nice time with them, so I'm looking forward to that.
And is Japan sort of, you still happy there rugby-wise, or are you thinking of coming back to SA or Europe or anywhere else soon?
I love it in Japan. I actually just re-signed for 3 more years.
Okay.
I was considering coming back, but yeah, if I'm still fit and strong and developing my game, and I'm ready to get selected for the next World Cup, when that time comes, then I will probably have to look for another club, and there's only one club I'll really come to, and it will be back in Cape Town here, and hopefully we can arrange something around that when that time comes, if I'm still up for playing.
So your contract will expire before the next World Cup, the new one?
In that year, yeah.
Okay. Hello? Damian, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice speaking, sir.